Hi, Aries. Welcome to your reading. I'm going to be taking a look at you and what may be going on during June 2023. Keep in mind that these are general readings. That means I can be picking up on your best friend's energy, your boss's energy, your ex's energy, your current lover's energy. So make sure that you're checking for your sun, moon, rising, Venus, and Jupiter sign for a full picture. If it does resonate with you, make sure that you visit www.brattystarot.com for a personal reading with me. I offer one-on-one, face-to-face Zoom calls, and I also offer pre-recorded readings, okay? So first, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the meditation. In the meditation, you were on stage, on this huge stage, and there were lights that were lighting up the stage all around, kind of like a circular stage. And there was a huge audience. I couldn't see the audience, but they were there. And you were battling with someone, and you had a shield in your hand. Now, this isn't very surprising, just because you are Aries and you are ruled by the god of war, okay? So this doesn't really surprise me. What's interesting is that you won the fight, right? You kicked the person's behind, right? But then all of a sudden, I'm watching you, then I become you as I'm watching from afar. I become you after you win the fight, and then there's like a hole in the stage that just drops. And because I've turned into you, I have now dropped into the water, into the ocean. And it was just nothing. Nothingness. The applause was gone from the crowd. The booing was gone from the crowd. The person that you were fighting, you couldn't hear them yelling anymore. And all I could hear was wails. And it was just darkness. And you were just floating there in the middle of the ocean. I could see little bubbles coming up from my mouth. And there was a huge blue whale that came around and just started kind of circling me. It wasn't anything fearful. I wasn't afraid. It was just this big, gigantic blue whale, and he was circling around me. Now, what's interesting to me is that you had an entire audience in this fight. And I'm thinking, is this all just for show? Is this for money? Is this for pride? Is this for glory? What is this for ego? Why do we need this audience to fight this person? Why do we have shields on like it's the freaking 1800s or whatever, right? I'm like, what is going on here? And what's interesting is everybody was cheering until you won, and they started booing you. And Ivor the Boneless from the Vikings popped in my head. And he was like the villain. He was the villain, but the hero at the same time. And if you ever seen Vikings, Ivor the Boneless, I'm getting him tattooed, just like I have Daenerys Targaryen tattooed. Ivor the Boneless was my favorite character. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but he was a cripple. And he felt like he had to prove something his entire life just to be able to be respected or feared. But because he felt like he couldn't get the respect, he would instill fear. Now, I don't know if that's something that you've done or you felt like you needed to do, or maybe you feel like you need to do, or somebody else has done to you. But Ivor, in the end, I say, I don't want to, it sucks because I really don't. Let me just put it like this. I love Ivor. Okay. And so, sometimes who we think may be the villain ends up not being the villain at all. And sometimes the people who have been born with maybe, being a cripple, or maybe they haven't had the best circumstances. There's a reason why people turn into the villain, right? Every villain has a sad story. Every villain has a story about where once they tried to be the hero. And so what's interesting is the fact that you dropped into the ocean after you got done getting booed. And even though you still won, you dropped into the middle of the ocean. And there was nothing. Like it didn't even matter. And with that blue whale circling you, blue whales can symbolize death, rebirth, etc. And so I feel like there is some kind of transformative process that you're going through in regards to what you give your time and your energy to, asking yourself if something is worth the fight, and what are you fighting for? What are you fighting against, and why? So Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the tarot. Show me Aries. We have the Six of Pentacles for the energy that you begin with. Continuing that is the Four of Swords, the King of Swords in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, the Death in reverse, the Ten of Pentacles in the uprights, the Ace of Swords in reverse, the High Priestess is the energy that you're ending with. There may be a doubt here where you feel like you can't have something that you truly want, but it's more so a self-doubt, like you feel like you can't make it happen, possibly because you already feel like you lost out on it or because it didn't happen, or it's something that you just feel like you may not be able to have. You're in a very giving mood in the next couple of weeks. You seem to be okay. You seem to be doing well. You could be giving or receiving help in whatever way, shape, or form that may take. With the Four of Swords, the King of Swords in reverse, and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it feels like you're not really speaking on something because you feel like it's just going to go nowhere. It's just the same shit, different day. It's really not going to go anywhere. So it seems like you're just kind of keeping things to yourself. The Death in reverse, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords in reverse. It's interesting because there seems to be a lack of change, or it's almost like a resistance to change, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And just almost the sense of acceptance. And with that Ten of Pentacles there's something here that's already established, whether it's a relationship, a business, something like that, where either you're not talking about it or there could be lies around that situation. Like I said, whether it's a business relationship, something that's already established in your life or that will be established here pretty soon. Or you may feel like you don't have enough information about something. You're ending with the High Priestess, okay? Now, this shows me that once again, you're more so going inside of yourself. You're not really saying too much. You know a lot more than you do say. So I'm trying to figure out where the silence is coming from. So let's go ahead and take a look at that Six of Pentacles. The Star in reverse. It's so pretty out today. I wish you guys could see it. It's like 74 degrees, like almost zero wind. It's just perfect. The Moon. I wouldn't be surprised if like the Nine of Wands or the Five of Wands came out or something like that. I heard hold me back. Hold me back. The Six of Pentacles, the Star in reverse, the Moon, and the Temperance card. You're definitely trying to temper your emotions. You don't believe in something anymore. What's that Star in reverse? The Three of Swords, yikes. Something really shattered your belief about someone or something. You are tempering your emotions where you're not allowing them to control your current circumstances or the way that you're reacting or responding to something. I will say this, there is a lack of healing, either when it comes to some kind of mother figure. It doesn't have to be your mother or someone who is a mother, or just something in regards to what it is that makes you feel comfortable. Something may have made you feel very uncomfortable, and you may be trying to figure out how to temper those emotions on your own. There is heartache here that you still haven't overcome. Can you tell me in regards to this, blah, blah, blah? The Knight of Swords in reverse could have been lies that were being told, something that simply triggered you. You could have wanted someone to take the lead and they didn't, or you feel like you should have fought more for something and you didn't. Maybe you didn't have all the facts about something. You know, the Knight of Swords in reverse, this can be like with the Three of Swords and the Knight of Swords in reverse, there could have been some kind of false information that was spread. I'm wondering because the Knight of Swords is Gemini energy. Gemini in reverse can be like a little bit of a gossiper, you know, somebody who kind of, right? And it could be because you were hurt over something, or maybe somebody did that to you. You will know. Tell me about that Four of Swords. Tell me about that Four of Swords. The Lovers. Give me one more. The 9 of Cups. 10 of Swords. 9 of Wands is here, but it's in the reverse. Ooh. There's a lot of seclusion here happening within the next couple of weeks coming from your end. You're really thinking about a decision, but it's like one of the most important decisions that you've ever had to make. And it's all about what it is that makes you happy, what fulfills you on an individual basis. What's interesting to me is that the Lovers is here, which can sometimes talk about a very important decision, but it can also talk about somebody who is maybe a kindred spirit to you, or somebody who is a very strong soulmate, like a divine counterpart in some way. Maybe becoming indifferent to that or trying to heal from that. Because I see you going from the 3 of Swords to the 4 of Swords, which shows me that you're actively making progress, because it's almost like you're just accepting some form of defeat, or somebody else has. It almost feels like somebody's giving in to something. The King of Swords in reverse. Somebody's giving in to something. Oh, God. Tell me about that King of Swords in reverse for Aries. The 2 of Pentacles in reverse. The Queen of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, the 10 of Wands, Ace of Cups. There's a new beginning under the surface, but it feels really heavy. There's a masculine here, whether it's you or someone else, that doesn't want to talk about something, either because they're confused or they just feel like they simply have to drop it because there's some kind of emotion, there's some kind of relationship that's trying to move forward, whether that's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family dynamic. Whatever this is faded for some reason. Emotions that are faded, a connection that is faded, but a lack of vulnerability on a masculine's part. Can you explain this? The Hermit. Once again, that's that like isolated energy, that pulling back from the world, that it's more like of a reflective energy. So who's the person in my meditation? Is this where you drop into the sea? What's interesting is I'm seeing you in the sea after you drop from the stage, and now you're being sucked back up. Right back onto the stage again. There's the 5 of Wands, but it's in reverse. No, I don't want to do this. So whoever this masculine energy is doing a lot of thinking, but it's somebody that feels like they can't handle something, like they can't handle the truth about themselves, or they can't handle having this conversation about something. They don't want to think about it. They just want to drop it. I want to see that 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Tell me about that 8 of Pentacles in reverse. The Sun. Oh, it'll be different this time. Hierophant in reverse. 8 of Wands in reverse. You remember when I told you it feels like somebody's just giving in to another person? That's what it feels like. Now, I don't know if you were the person that won or if you were the person that lost in my meditation. If you guys haven't seen the meditation, you're here on the live premiere, please go back and rewind this, or you're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. And somebody is just simply giving in because they're tired. They're tired of holding their shield up. They're tired of fighting on stage. They're tired of the crowd, whatever it may be. And whoever the person is that's winning, they're being dropped into this ocean to make them realize they're really just a little ant in the world. Like it really doesn't matter. And what's interesting is it feels like this person that is losing, so to speak, they don't feel like it's a loss because they're just giving in because they feel like something isn't worth it. And when I see you being pulled back up onto the stage, it's almost like that rebirth process, going right back to where you were. Now, how do you see it? Now, what do you see differently? You know, and I don't know which person you are. So you guys are going to have to, you know, use discernment. Because it's like somebody feels like they're being pushed into a corner to the point where they're just like, all right, F it, you win, you know? And the thing is that I feel like they're feeling optimistic that maybe things will change. But then we have the death in reverse. Now I just heard the song I Love You More by Eminem, which is kind of like a psychotic song. There is a lack of accountability, I feel. Someone's being honest, but they're trying to save face at the same time. I feel with that judgment, it's like, okay, yeah, I did this, right? But maybe only telling half truths to keep the peace because they're trying to avoid a change that they don't want. It's just so funny. I was just kind of talking about something like this. You know, I have had really bad acne scars growing up, right? And I used to always get made fun of them for it. And what I used to do was I would just cake on makeup, right? And like, you know, ladies, if you had this issue, you know what I'm talking about, okay? Or guys. And I would just cake on the makeup, but I wasn't ever fixing the problem. I was just covering it up. And I know this sounds like a very superficial description of what I'm talking about, but it was the first thing that popped in my head. And I feel like maybe somebody needs to hear it. And um, then I got a procedure done where it like slawed off a bunch of my skin. It's called dermabrasion. And so I actually started fixing the actual issue instead of just covering it up and pretending like it doesn't exist. And now, like right now, I'm not wearing foundation. I wear like blush, lip gloss, you know, this and some like translucent powder, right? I don't even have to wear foundation anymore. And so like that feels better to me than just caking on makeup. And with this particular scenario, that's what it's like. It's like trying to cover up the problem, but not actually fixing the problem. And so somebody's just like, you know, it's pointless, but here we are, you know, I'm just going to choose to just be happy kind of thing. Because it seems like there's a benefit for this person in regards to that. Tell me about that 10 of Pentacles. Sorry about that, guys. People just love to call me when I'm doing readings. So, wow, told you 9 of Wands. There it is. Ooh, money. Something about money. Give me one more for this. Because the person that appears like they've lost has not lost at all. Is that you? The 10 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, and the Fool. This is very interesting to me. Because for me, as a reader and as somebody who has the gift of inner vision, right, in human design, I just picturing all of it and how I saw everything and how everybody was cheering you guys on, right? Until this one person won. And then everybody booed that person. And then the person that won fell through the ocean to make them realize that there was something far bigger than them. That whale. And because blue whales can signify death and rebirth, a sense of, speaking of Vikings, it's just made me think of this. One of these characters who I didn't really care for, but I can't deny that he was not amazing and incredible. Ragnar Lothbrok. In Vikings, he was telling his son Bjorn, he says, power belongs to the person that is willing to lower themselves enough to pick it up. The person that's pretending that they lost in a situation or giving in is actually not losing at all. They have lowered themselves enough to pick up the power. Is this you? It's a feminine energy. They played dead and then came out on top. Oh, I just like, I'm getting like chill. Let's look at that Ace of Swords in reverse. This is an incredible reading. Ace of Wands. I heard silence is the key. Even a fool can seem wise if he says nothing at all, is what I heard. Oh no, I'm so weak. I can't. Not really. There's power on the floor. One person is humble enough to kneel down to find it. The other person thinks that the power is coming from cutting another one down. But they didn't cut the other person down. The person lowered themselves because they knew that that's where the power was. And the person who refused to humble themselves fell through that door on the stage and realized that it all means nothing and that there's something far fucking bigger than they could ever imagine, far bigger than themselves, and that they are just a tiny speck in the universe, but a speck in the universe that could make a difference, a positive difference if they wanted to. The High Priestess is where we're ending this reading. Woo! This is an incredible reading, man. Bitch. Sorry about that. Tell me about that High Priestess, please. Who's this Empress? Incredible. Ooh, listen to me, honey. Is this between two feminine energies? Two women? Isn't it incredible? I can literally post a video on here and touch 1,000 lives without ever touching anyone at all. There's something to be said about that. The High Priestess, the Hierophant in reverse, the Empress, the Queen of Wands in reverse, and the Eight of Swords in reverse. There's two feminine energies here. Jealousies, anger, deep-rooted insecurity that can barely even be found, a needing to prove something. There's an Empress here who realizes, this could even be a man that's acting like a little bitch. You know what I mean? It depends on your personal situation, Aries. But there's somebody here where they're very well aware that something does not align with their morals and their values, but their intuition is saying in due time. They're willing to allow a cycle to repeat only because there's a benefit to it. The power is on the floor. But the person that is not willing to realize that falls into nothingness at all. Advice for Aries. Sextile. I need something definitive. Thank you. Wow. The South Node, the Moon, House 8, Neptune. Down here at the that actually fell out on the table, we have Sextile, House 1, and Uranus. Is the advice. There's an opportunity for self, for one's individuality, for one's own self-image, the way that they approach life. And there's an opportunity to be able to do something that they've never done, do something different. And if you're the one that's willing to humble themselves, lower yourself enough to see the truth and pick up the power, you will be the one that has the most benefit. House 1 is a natural Aries house. Now, if you're not the one that's willing to do that, I suggest that you do. There's illusions about the truth, secrets being hidden, emotions being hidden, something that needs to be let go of, but somebody is willing to repeat a cycle because it's going to benefit in the long run. But the power is on the floor. So Aries, it was an absolute pleasure to read your cards. If you'd like to book a personal reading, www.brattystarot.com is where it's at. I offer one-on-one face-to-face Zoom calls as well as pre-recorded readings. If you enjoyed this video and it resonated with you, please leave me a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. Make sure that you like the video and make sure that you share it. Make sure as many people as you possibly can see this video. Okay. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow me on my socials as well. I am verified on Instagram because people kept impersonating my identity and trying to scam you guys into readings. So mine is the one with the check mark. Okay. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever it may be. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace out.